A very warm welcome to all the listeners of this special thought session on the occasion of World Water Day. Now, there's nothing I could possibly say that could overstate the significance of water in our lives. Universal availability of and access to clean water is a prerequisite for basic human well being. And it's not that we're not aware of this, we're also aware of a looming water crisis. For years, we've heard and probably even said that the Third World War will be fought for water. However, until the problem reaches our own backyards, it's unlikely that the policymakers or businesses and even common people would take an urgent action to solve it. The ongoing water crisis in Bangalore has made us stop and think, what now? This thought session is only the beginning of a series of initiatives that the CSR universe will be taking to understand and analyze the problem, its severity, and foster a collective discourse around the best solutions. Today, I have the honor of welcoming Dr. Subramanya Kusnur, Chairman and CEO of Aquacraft Group Ventures, Ms. Ankita Yadav, Research Associate from the Watershed Organization Trust, also known as WATER. We also have Mr. Abhishek Jha. He's a foreign correspondent, and he would be giving the take of the media. And as a journalist, he would be sharing his views and probably putting up questions for our speakers. We've also invited a resident of Bangalore to get a first-hand account of the problems common people are facing. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Sindhu. She's a young doctor who recently completed her MBBS from MPJ Medical College and Research Hospital. She's been a resident of Bangalore for many years and currently lives in Uttarhali area. So Sindhu, thank you for joining us. First of all, please tell us that when was the first time that the water crisis affected the area that you are living in?
So, itself around second, third week of February, we started having suddenly the water was not there. We thought that the bore is not working maybe and all, and we were trying to sort it out and all. But then soon we realized that there's no underground water left anymore, and so from that point we had to order tanker on daily basis. And moreover, the population of the area is like too much. Like the apartment where I stay, it has around 45 flats, and all of them are family people, so there's a lot of water requirement, and so we stopped having water at all, and we used to get only water in the morning for 2 hours and evening for 2 hours. It was very hard to find even the tankers, but yeah, thanks to the some association people of our apartment, they somehow got the tanker supply and all. And then right now we just get 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening. So this is what has been happening since February.
Okay. And I've heard that I've also spoken to other residents, and what they were telling me that this used to be a problem in summers every year, or for the past few years at
Uh,
least, and the tanker system, that's why is kind of streamlined. Is that true?
yeah, it used to be there every year, but the it used to start in between mid March, April, or May. But this time it has started very early, like from February itself. So this is the change this year.
Okay.
And also there was a lake, there's a lake in nearby to our house that has been dried up, like there's no water left at all in the lake also.
Oh,
The situation is like really bad.
yeah, because the severity is much higher this time. It's not like a regular crisis that has been, but I think it's been brewing for quite some time. Um, I'd like to go to Dr. Kusnur. Sir, could you unmute yourself? And
Yes.
yes, so what do you have to say about this crisis, being an expert in the domain? What do you think? We've read many articles that cite many reasons for this problem. I mean, of course, there's unchecked construction. I've also read articles about, the South Indian aquifers being different, being rocky in nature, and there are many other aspects. So, what is your take on the problem, sir?
So I think one should really look at the Niti Aayog report which had come in 2018, where it had said that 21 cities in the country will run out of water by 2020. And Bangalore topped the list. And unfortunately, we are seeing the situation today. So not that this warning was given much earlier, and there are multiple factors towards we reaching these kind of an activity. And one of the key things which I feel is that until and unless everybody practices water sustainability as a culture and not as a compliance, this is not going to change. And classically, as I tell people that the moment you open the tap, you get water. The moment you flush, it gets flushed. Till the time that doesn't happen, as Dr. Sindhu rightly said, when you start getting water in a rationed manner, that's the time you wake up. By that time, it is too late. And one of the key reasons is that if you, I mean, the classic statistics which I would want to give, all the water supplied to all the households, 72% of that is converted into sewage. And this sewage just flows down. Similarly, all the lakes that have been generated and all the other sort of water bodies that have been there, they have been completely neglected. A lot of silt, a lot of sewage, a lot of this thing is going, and there is no space for water itself. So this is when we came up with a mantra, and everybody, as you rightly said, people are talking about problems. Last 1.5 months, we've been seeing articles written by global press, local press, regional press. Bangalore is facing problems, Bangalore is facing problems, but nobody came up with a solution.
Right.
This is when we went and told that monsoon is seasonal, sewage is perpetual. Give us all the sewage of Bangalore, we will give you clean water every day, irrespective of monsoon. I will not get into details of technology and would allow other panelists to speak, but there is a solution for everything. But the most important solution is the culture of every user and beneficiary not to take water granted. And this UN World Water Day message is water for peace. And what we've told everybody is that water is life, no water leads to strife. So before it is too late, Kajala, take your things onto hand, harvest as much as possible, recycle as much as possible. And we're telling that give us all the sewage water, the treated sewage water, which is fit for irrigation. We will take it to 9,000 of the 14,000 borewells which have dried up, recharge it, monitor it, and within 1 year, we can make Bangalore water positive.
We'll just take Ankita's view first, and then I'll come back to you. Ankita?
Yes, sure. As a hydrogeologist, I would like to talk about more of, what is happening with the aquifers there, right? So we have gone too deep with the aquifers in terms of, drilling bore wells. When we talk about Bangalore, we don't have open wells in that, in that number, but we are targeting more of bore wells, which are too deep. And if we talk about the recharge of this borewell, it takes hundreds of years to recharge such deep conditions. And it has become almost impossible to immediately address this issue of recharging. Yes, we have definitely the option of, rooftop rainwater harvesting and recharging certain areas of the hydrogeological units, but when we are extracting water from certain depth, we have to be very cautious. And it's a scientific awareness that people should be having while drawing water. So it's water literacy basically that needs to be created more amongst all the residents, all the users, be it your primary users, be it your secondary or tertiary stakeholders, such as decision makers and other areas, other sectors. But it has to come from that literacy, that what are you doing with your hydrological unit. So basically it's the nature which is very limited, and even for that aquifer, the primary source of recharge will be your rainfall. And as you know, we are having this vagaries of monsoon also. It's becoming more difficult to get that sufficient recharge for those aquifers. So it is this cycle is becoming more vicious. So I think it's high time that we look at our certain aspects of recharging. We have now technologies of managed aquifer recharge, and I think in case of Bangalore, we have to certainly go with that. And I think into this we'll have to have support from government, technical experts, and also, yes, basically the residents. So yes, that's my opinion. Yeah.
So, Dr. Kosnoor and Ankita, both of you have proposed your own kind of solutions.
Mhm.
Are you sort of going to the policymakers or local bodies with your solutions, and have you started doing that, and how has their response been?
Yes.
Ankita,
Yeah.
you can take it first.
Yeah, thank you. So yesterday only we had a state level workshop. It was for Maharashtra basically, but we had also ministers from Niti Aayog and Jal Shakti Ministry. We also had a presence of Mr. Shashi Shekhar, and he addressed overall inaugural session. He also concluded our workshop. So basically, it was about the systems. Huh? How the system of groundwater, rivers, and even the canal system is interconnected with each other. So the basic core of this system is again becoming the groundwater. Our groundwater dependency is far more than any other country. So he also addressed that to recharge groundwater, first is for a common person, it has to be a participatory approach. And when I'll talk about more about this, the tools, we have already proposed these tools to government and the state departments, and very recently successfully we have passed these tools through GRs into, I think, Pokra and Atal Bhujal Yojana, which is in ongoing process. And I think by next year itself we will be starting implementing these tools on ground. So we have already initiated this. Yes.
Dr. Kosnoor, please.
Yeah, so we work very closely with several state governments and the Jal Shakti Ministry. And very recently, we've been in constant dialogue with Niti Aayog. See, final destination is to get water into the ground. And the only way you can do it is that put water into dry bore wells or in any activities for recharging it. So we are using a technology which is a nature-based solution, which does not require power. It treats the sewage with a bioprocess, no chemicals at all. Unlike normal STPs, which recover 50%, we recover 98% water. And that output water is completely disinfected, fit for use for all non-potable purposes, including washing vessels and any other activities. What we are saying is that we will empower communities with these STP units as mandated by the Karnataka government very recently. They will be using a certain set of water. There will be excess sewage water which will be left. We will leverage that excess water to take it to these bore wells and recharge that. Coupled with that, rainwater harvesting has been made compulsory in Bangalore, but has not seen the light of the day. So we have developed IoTs, which can actually show how much water has been harvested and harnessed through rainwater harvesting. Combination of rainwater harvesting, sewage water recycling, and recharging the bore wells with sewage treated water is the only solution which the government of Karnataka and authorities in Bangalore have also really realized, and they have given us a very, very good activity. The whole idea in India is that except for pollution control board norms, there are no forcing functions on monitoring water use and efficiency by any stakeholder, be it be government, may it be industry, may it be community, may it be agriculture. To this effect, last year, we started the world's first digital water bank called as Aquarium, which runs like a normal bank, where every stakeholder opens up a digital water savings bank account, harvests, harnesses, and saves water. And whatever excess water is available more than what they use is credited to the digital water bank account through a concept called as water credits, aqua credits. We've done extensive work with the Art of Living and issued them water credits and several other NGOs in Maharashtra. And these water credits now qualify for investment under CSR. And very recently, Kent Purifiers bought credits from Art of Living as a part of this thing. What we are trying to say here is that, and this also has received very good support from the all stakeholders, we are trying to build a registry, we are trying to build a platform where water can be monitored, both from use. What happens is that whenever there is water available, people will just use it. But wherever bereft areas, they will not have water. There needs to be some equality that needs to come around. That is where we are using all kinds of IoTs for input and output quantity, input and output quality, so that we will be able to monitor in a given catchment area what is the total water that is available in groundwater through either remote sensing or GIS, what is the total amount of rainfall that comes in there, what is the percolation rate, and various other parameters which our team have developed. It's a dynamic algorithm. And this creates what is known as a water balance sheet. Water balance sheet is nothing else but a cash, like a cash balance sheet. It's the total water that is available vis-a-vis what has been used, what has been recycled, and what has been harvested. Water positive balance sheets are issued water credits, and water deficit balance sheets can offset the deficit by buying these kind of water credits. So we're trying to create a self-regulatory framework amongst all stakeholders. And this unfortunate crisis of Bangalore has opened up a huge opportunity for all stakeholders to come and join. And we have received some phenomenally encouraging responses across all stakeholders, including buildings, including, most importantly, education institutions, hospitals have come forward. And they said that we want to be water secure and we want to be this thing. So the whole idea is that water is the only, sort of solution. Either you get it from rain or recycle from this thing. But building an entire self-regulatory framework and building an entire sense of sustainability amongst all stakeholders is something that we will do aggressively for the next 1 year at Bangalore and show that as a model case.
Dr. Subbu, Shweta, I had one question for Dr. Subbu.
Yeah.
Like in our last conversation, you were talking about the Bangalore airport doing very well in terms of water sustainability.
Yeah.
So if you could, cite the example and share with the viewers what exactly they have done, what measures they
Bangalore
have
Airport
taken.
is one of the most water positive, most of the airports are doing, and Bangalore Airport has done some phenomenally great activity. They have done extensive rainwater harvesting, they have done extensive groundwater recharging, they're doing sewage treatment, they're doing sewage recycling, and not just within the airport, but within the community also around. So wherever you go, especially when you go to the Terminal 2, they name it as a green airport, which essentially it is. I mean, they use less energy. From a sustainability standpoint, they have taken some very, very advanced steps, and they've been able to address their water needs primarily from captive interventions rather than depend upon the external agencies to give this kind of water. There are multiple, MNCs who are now focused. Being a part of the UN Global Compact Governing Council, all the corporates who are a part of this thing are signatory to the CEO water mandate, which essentially says that by 2028, all of them will be water positive. So all the MNCs, large number of Indian corporates also are taking water as a very, very serious activity. And one of the key narratives that we spoke during the COP28 this time was, climate and carbon is really, being talked about a lot in terms of management and in terms of stock takes and everything. But water, which is core to sustainability and life, has been clearly missing the narrative. And this is a narrative we are trying to take across not just within the country, but also globally as we expand globally this year. So it's very important for everybody to realize that, water is not perpetual. It is going to have its own challenges. Recently, California, so our sewage treatment technology actually gives you potable water. But there is a mind block. Whereas in Singapore, all the water that you drink is sewage treated water. Recently, California came out with a statute saying that sewage water can be converted and if it is fit, can be used for drinking. Soon others will follow the suit. Because you cannot, as a friend from WTR said, you cannot be dependent on the vagaries of monsoon. Catch the rain wherever it comes is fine. It has to be done. It's imperative. But you'll have to find alternate models, alternate nature-based solutions to make water security a reality. For instance, if you give us the sewage of an entire village, we'll give you water for agriculture throughout the year, irrespective of rain. So this has a direct impact on agriculture. So in the Middle East, we've been invited, I'll just take another half second. In the Middle East, we've been invited to take our sewage treatment technology, take the sewage water and recharge the bore wells and reduce the salinity over a period of next 2 to 3 years' time and make the soil cultivable for food, thereby enabling water security and food security. Parallelly, we have a desalination system also, which also does not require chemicals, gives you ORP negative water, which is better than rainwater quality. So net effect, we have invested. So today is UN World Water Day. But since our inception since 2010, the last 5,100 days for us has been every day a water day. And we've invested these 5,000 days now not to look at conventional activities, but to innovate newer solutions, nature-based solutions, climate positive, environmentally friendly solutions, which do not have any post-implementation maintenance cost at all. We don't believe that, like any activity, that we will generate our revenue out of AMCs. Because the market is so huge that just investing into giving technology solutions on a capital cost basis itself, this lifetime will be short for us to do that. So we have innovated technologies where the end beneficiary or the stakeholder doesn't have any dependence on us whatsoever. To give you a classic example, all our technologies, a village waterman can be trained to operate, maintain it continuously. And all of them are nature-based solutions. We do not require any recharge, any intervention, or anything else. It's too good to be true right now, but we have, over a period of time, developed this. And this is now will be showcased very heavily in Bangalore. And this morning, one of my friends from Kerala called up and says, Kochi is following the suit very strongly of Bangalore.
Oh.
So after having seen what we're doing there, they're saying, why don't you come and start doing things in Kochi? Kochi is also having a serious problem of groundwater contamination of fluoride. Because the water table is just depleting at a level which they have not able to control. So these are the things that we want to take ahead, and we're very grateful to CSR Universe, Ruchika, you and this thing to at least give us an opportunity to talk about this.
Always, sure.
It's our pleasure, actually.
Yeah. Abhishek is there.
So,
I know he's. Yes.
So,
You had a
Shweta, I
question,
would like to
Abhishek?
ask Dr. Kustur something about you. You were talking a lot about the policies and how you are bringing new innovations in this field of water crisis that both recharge the water and provide the safe drinking water, which is contaminated with fluoride or some other chemicals in other parts. Taking back you a little, like about 2 decades when Atal Bihari Vajpayee government was there, and we used to hear a lot about water harvesting, and every house should have its own water tank and recycling of water. Probably the last 20 years, if it had been invested properly, would have started giving result. Then the entire Manrega, a lot of it was also in cleaning old ponds and creating new water reservoirs in rural and other areas also. Just wanted to know if you have had any experience about what happened to those policy and why it could not contain the upcoming crisis which we are witnessing right now. Because you are in Bangalore. I'm not sure if you're in Bangalore.
No, I am in Mumbai. I am a resident of Mumbai.
Okay, but
But
we
go
are
to Bangalore quite often.
Okay, so but we do hear a lot about Bangalore crisis because of course it is hub of technology. A lot of people, international travelers come and go, but there is this permanent perpetual water crisis across various remote areas, Maharashtra, and other parts, which do not get that widespread attention. So I would like to have your understanding on the government policy part and why the planning or execution of those policy have not been that fruitful or that result oriented on the ground.
In fact, it's great that you went back 2 decades ago when Atalji has started this entire program. Government has always been very proactive. And I would say that from a water standpoint, and that is the reason at least we are at this level today. And if you look at the last 6-7 years of the work that Jal Shakti Ministry has done, it's fantastic. But as I told earlier, until and unless the community and the beneficiary takes ownership of retaining it, maintaining it, managing it, and using it judiciously, things will not work. So what we saw, typically a lot of work in, let me just go back to what you talked about, Manrega. The work that Sri Ravi Shankar's organization Jaltara did across Maharashtra in the entire Vidarbha and Marathwada area was leveraging Manarega, where they showed absolute impact. On a 4x4 pit, they did basic things which gave them excellent results. There are a lot of small silos that are happening right now, which have happened earlier. But at the same time, there are a lot of risks also, where people have just wiled away the water. Lot of rain comes in to the country, but nobody controls it. Nobody. So the Atal Bhujal Yojana for that matter, and Catch the Rain program for that matter. These are very well conceptualized activities. But at the end of the day, you only have a small government machinery in a village which tells them to do that. Some of them do that, some of them don't do that. There needs to be a fundamental change in the mindset. And what we have seen very strongly is that using children as transformation agents really helps us. So we run a very, very strong program for providing water, sanitation, and harvesting in schools, where we create a small school committee of children who manage the entire infrastructure, where we give them our drinking water system, which is totally green, our bio toilets, then rainwater harvesting structures, and planting of water retention plants on the boundary of the school to make it water positive. So when they go back to their homes, they कहते हैं स्कूल में कर सकते तो घर में क्यों नहीं कर सकते?
Exactly.
So that is this thing that we are doing, and we are launching an aggressive program called as Jal Pe Charcha.
Okay.
In the schools to tell them simple, basic things to do. When you're doing a rooftop harvesting, you don't need to build a structure. All you need to do is that put up a small slant, which can be done by existing stones. You don't even need to do cement concretization because these stones are automatic filters. I'll give a classic example. Around 2 years ago, there's a place called as Beed in Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, it was totally water bereft. And we work with one of our corporate partners and our other partners. We did simple rooftop harvesting. In 2 years' time, those 111 villages are tanker free today. So there is simple things to do. We don't want people to take rocket science on one side. On the other side, we require experts like hydrogeological experts. We require remote sensing experts. And that is where we are now implementing AI models on water to do predictive analysis based on the last 10 years of the rainfall pattern, the consumption pattern, the agriculture pattern, the soil moisture, various other things, and forecast the next 10 years requirement. Understand what is the gap to reach that requirement, suggest interventions, create models, hand it over to the communities, help them operate and manage them, and report data to us, and incentivize good behavior. Human psychology is till the time, even if I go to a shopper stop, if I get 5 points, I will fight for it.
Exactly.
So, sorry.
Dr. Kusur, I would, we'll have more of your perspective. Just wanted to have some, I was wondering how the people in Bangalore, there's a city of Bangalore which is always buzzing with activities, it doesn't sleep practically. How this water crisis is affecting their day-to-day life. We have seen all those movies and documentaries where children are pushed and their entire day operates in bringing water from some far-placed borewell and bringing the. I'm hoping that that is not the case with most of the Bangalore people in Bangalore. But how do these people are coping with this water crisis? How is it impacting their day-to-day life? Is it their schooling is being affected? Their office works are being affected? Overall productivity. So if Ankita could throw some light on that, or we have some some citizens of Bangalore also, if they can throw some light as to how their day-to-day life is getting impacted in the last few days.
Sindhu, she spoke about it. Sindhu, if you can hear me, can you just turn your yes.
And are you just not having enough time to give to your work and whatever work you are busy with official?
It's like right now we are just preparing for my PG entrance and all. So I'm actually not working outside and all. So I'm at home. So it like for me it's not mattering so much. But I see my neighbors and all. Like they after coming from work they have to wait till the water comes in the night and all. And all the things get held up and all. They're unable to do their like their daily routine is also getting so much affected. And I also see that in some families there are small kids and all, like the small kids, like they wake up whenever they want, right? Like at around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and but there won't be water for them to take bath or anything. Like they are making the kids also get up early in the morning at 6 o'clock so that water is available for them. So like all these things are happening. Mainly families are really getting affected a lot. They have to change their daily timings according to the water and all. And yeah, it is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this
And
is,
Kita,
Abhishek, I think we can understand that this is the situation in one of the, say, upper middle class neighborhoods. So we can imagine that, of course, it's a
Can
more
I
dire
just interject?
situation. Yes,
yes.
please.
The biggest problem in Bangalore is that some parts of Bangalore have water, some parts don't have. There have been
Mhm.
162 catchments or councils which have been integrated into the BBMP, that is the municipality.
Mm-hmm.
All these people do not have pipe water supply. All of
Mm-hmm.
them depend on bore wells, which have gone dry. All these people do not have direct sewage activities, which a normal Bangalore city will otherwise have. So unplanned expansion of the city into a corporation has actually led to additional, some load of this. It has affected everybody's life. And water is now being leveraged by the tankers, the bottled water companies to a great extent. And even though government has tariffized the tankers, but the tank driver, until unless you pay him what he wants, he will not open the tap. So technically, it's a very unfortunate situation. It has affected children's and hospitals the most. And I see hospitals grappling with a lot of challenges because they require continuous water to keep themselves clean, disinfected, and they require distilled water, which again is a separate activity altogether. So technically, if you ask to answer your question, life has been disrupted and looks to be disrupted for some more time till the time solutions are.
Abhishek, I had another actually slightly different question for you because you're from the media. So,
Mm-hmm.
in your opinion, do you think that this crisis is being covered uh, properly or in a proper way,
Well, exactly,
commensurately?
Shweta. That is why we were discussing that since it is Bangalore, so we are getting so many headlines and all the TV reels, shorts, and people and kids out in the open. But this water crisis is not something that has happened just in the month of March and it'll just
Exactly.
go away by the end of this month. It is going to stay. It is going to stay there for many years, and it has been there for many years. The only thing is that we don't give it due attention when it is required because mostly these water crises or the issues are from the remote areas where you will not get enough headlines or TV TRP. But had we addressed those issues earlier without caring much for the TRPs and where the media attention is, probably the Bangaloreans would not be facing this issue right now. So that is the more the irony of media that we pay attention where the only revenue model is also associated with. But if the issues are addressed at the core, at the root level, probably those issues will not be escalated in a manner when the real productivity of a city, Bangalore, happens to be providing a lot to the national GDP because of the production, because the technical people all there, and if everybody is contributing about 2 to 3 hours of their life is to managing their homely water concerns and getting irritated, you can very well imagine the kind of productivity will suffer in their official work. So that's the irony of it. And we do hope that even after this crisis, the latest crisis that is in Bangalore is over, uh, the entire media attention will not be just over from the Bangalore water crisis, and we'll continue to talk about it. That if not in this city, in some other city, the issue continues to crop up. So how to deal it with in a basis that will solve the issue of entirely and for a long term solution.
Right. Ruchika, you have a question?
Yeah, I had a question for Ankita. Ankita, since water has been working in collaboration with a lot of other stakeholders coming from corporates, NGOs, and other implementation agencies. So, what do you think? Do you agree, collaboration could play a key role over here? And what could be the role of corporates when it comes to their CSR and CSR in water in this particular area. What is your take on that?
Yes, yes. So basically, so it's about two aspects when we talk about. The first thing is, as in we have already talked about how the responsibility is taken of, ownership of how do we respect our water, how do we harvest our water. It comes from everyone. All the stakeholders will play similar role into having the ownership. The first primary ownership has to come from the community, but yes, we have recently worked with certain corporates and other donors that they have realized that certain areas needs to be looked upon more than only the harvesting water, only the conserving the water. As rightly mentioned by Dr. Kusnu sir here, that reuse and recycling is the new area we have to look in far more depth, that we have harvested a limited water, we have limitation there also. So recycling and reuse has become new norm now. And also along with that, to a certain extent, our use has to be budgeted. How do we use it? And the budgeting of that has to be done seasonally for irrigation and other sectors, but for even for the consumer like us or the residents, it has to be budgeted. This audit should go frequently, and it has to come as a norm from the corporates as well. So we have been working on that, and we have worked in different diverse areas, geographies also. So we are getting those ideas how it is, what kind of audits we can implement in different areas. So it's for us also a new experience, we are learning from that. Yes.
Actually, Ankita, this was going to be my next question, because both your organizations, even Dr. Kusnoor and yours, you have worked in so many different regions and in so many different, not just geographies, but with different corporates also. So have you come across any region or a particular solution where you think that good work has been done around water, from where we can learn a little more? Particularly, Ankita, this is for you, because you work with state governments and you are actually solving the problems in rural areas and all.
Yeah.
So any case study that comes to mind?
Yes, yes. So we have implemented the pilot study, and it has been like we are working on this study like for last 5 to 6 years now. It's because of the scale that we are saying it's still in pilot stage. We have done aquifer level groundwater management, and for that we have, as I initially mentioned, we have certain tools. So when we look into the depth of understanding of what is an aquifer, for us it's very easy to understand the different layers, how groundwater is flowing into that. But for the community to understand what is invisible, groundwater is invisible for the community, and to budget that, to estimate this particularly, it's very difficult. So we have initiated WSI, Water Stewardship Initiative. Into that we have steps like, first we understand what is the health of water health of that village or the community. So they answer certain questions around what is happening into their village, whether their water is potable, how scarce their water is, whether they have number of tankers coming in summer or even in Rabi. So certain questions we ask them, they understand their village water health, and onto that we build up the different kinds of activities. So first we target the institution, local institutions such as village development committee, even the local governing body such as Gram Panchayat. We involve certain committees or the bodies into this. We capacitate local youth and also the active members into village, who will be taking more responsibility or the leadership as such, to motivate others. And even we consider landless people who also have equal right onto water use. We simultaneously collect data with people's participation on what is their rainfall, what is total area that can harvest a good amount of rainfall, and then recharging the groundwater. So certain data collection is also there. And towards end, we, with the scientific surveys and the data collection of hydrogeology, aquifer mapping, we come up with the 3D model, physical model of the aquifer. And this model is prepared with community participation. So we call it as CDVI, 3D model. I can share the links to you, how it is prepared and how participation is taken. So basically, people prepare this model and they understand what are the layers of aquifer, how their groundwater is positioned, how much water they are taking from their own well, and how it is shared amongst them. So basically, groundwater is not their private property, but it's a common pool resource. So it's a basic understanding that they develop of, it's shared property, it's shared resource. And from then onwards, we have multiple follow-ups and meetings with them to further develop this scientific understanding. And we up to certain, we have come to this level that these people have passed resolution through their general governing body, Gram Sabhas, right? So they have now set the regulations of not drilling deep bore wells, having certain depth of wells to only have drinking water, not to take cash crops, having certain types of cropping pattern, irrigation pattern. So they have already doing this, and we are seeing a good result with this. So and these are like, time taking activities, and definitely the most important part here is the behavioral or mindset change that happens over the period. So yes, this pilot study, we have seen this change is, becoming more visible now after 5 to 6 years.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I just had to add a little bit to your question, Shweta, and for Dr. Kusnur. The fact that you are already working in tandem with a lot of corporates, first of all, could you please, share any challenges that you have faced or are facing in, as Ankita just spoke about changing mindsets, and there people have taken the resolution to follow certain measures so that there is no wastage further. So, in your experience, what have been the challenges that you're facing in, raising that kind of awareness or changing mindsets? And do you think even corporates should take such resolutions or pledge to, save water and go into water sustainability and management?
In fact, if you look at it, corporates, so I'll be speaking on 1st April, and a book has been released on 10 years of CSR in India, in which I've written a very huge chapter, where I've said that right since the inception till now, CSR has helped us to innovate a lot of models. Corporates are progressive. They want to look at solutions. And in one classic case where we implemented it through a CSR, the same has been now being implemented in captive use also. So technically, if you look at it, corporates across India have been very, very progressive and proactive to looking at solutions, especially in the area of energy, climate, and water. Because this is something which affects them directly on a day-to-day basis. And not just that, it comes directly on the bottom line. Because non-availability of these basic resources hampers everything, right? From your production to your services to your existence. Insofar as challenges are concerned, the government also is very, very proactive. So whenever we went with a CSR partner, the government gave us all the permissions, and not just that, whatever we implemented as drinking water and sanitation assets have now been recognized as public infrastructure, which the government is monitoring. The biggest challenge comes is in terms of monitoring water use and efficiency. And that is something which we have now trying to cover up with our digital water bank. And that's what we saw very strongly. Whenever you are giving something, there is a set of people within the village who take the decision to do it, and they are very progressive into doing it. But you cannot control the end beneficiary. You'll have all kinds of beneficiaries. It's a democracy. Somebody will be quite progressive. Somebody will say that no, the water is to be given by the government. That's not my responsibility. The third one would say that let's, sort of maintain water. The farmers will have a separate take altogether. So each one, knowing the fact that water is a precious resource, has a different perspective to address it and treat it. Now, to get everything onto a single platform, it is very important to pinpoint either the accountability or incentivize good behavior. So that was one piece which we saw in the last 14 years of our existence, having treated over 11 billion liters of water, recycled over 45 billion and saved over 150 trillion liters of water. We saw that monitoring of water use and efficiency is the biggest missing piece. And a cap and trade system where you incentivize good behavior, at the same time, people who are not water conscious have to pay up, either buying water credits or pay up a certain element of some kind of a fine, which is created by the administration. So this is the only challenge which I face. Otherwise, corporates are very proactive, governments are proactive, the Gram Sabhas, Gram Panchayats are proactive, but none of them have control on monitoring of use and efficiency. That's where our digital water bank is now trying to create a platform which is very simple, interoperable, and we have created an entire water operating system where a basic person through an SMS can report their data. So we are trying to go to the grassroots and tell everybody that if somebody, and typically what happens as a human psychology, and we use children for that. I have saved water, but my friend, he's wasting water. So he will report that and he'll get incentivized for that. So it's a small game, small advocacy program. So Jalpe Charcha will actually have a lot of these street plays, a lot of on-ground activation to try and people to come and start reporting data, which is a global problem also today. If you go and ask the World Economic Forum, you go and ask GRI, they are also facing the same problems. But we don't want to go to that level. We want to start incubating the sense of reporting data and water consciousness with the children, because if the children do it, automatically they will make the parents also do it.
Dr. Subbu, you know, there it might sound like an oxymoron, but we know so many corporates who are doing such great work in the CSR area, but they are actually misusing a lot of water. They're wasting a lot of water.
Exactly. And nobody is there to point it today, right? And that's why we are saying treat water, have a chief water officer in your company.
Right.
Treat water as an asset on your balance sheet. Create a water balance sheet. Till the time you put an economic value to water,
Absolutely.
nobody will respect it. And that's what we are trying to do with our digital water bank and water credits. So this is something which we go very strongly to talk to all our corporates. I will request Ms. Yadav also to help us. WOTR is doing some phenomenal work. If you all can get together and create a platform that, going forward, don't take pledges, actually act. It's very simple. You don't need to do much.
Yes.
And we're very grateful you got all of us together today. We all should continue this dialogue and try and see, even if we make a small impact, use that as a model and showcase if it can happen here, why not here? That is all what we want.
Absolutely. Yes.
I think that's a wonderful way to actually, conclude this discussion. But I'd still want both of you to add, if Abhishek is there, I don't know, he's not connected. But I want each speaker to give some parting remarks, concluding remarks to this discussion, whatever you would like to take with us. And then we can conclude.
We can also have Dr. Sindhu's point of view. What exactly are they looking for now? What changes they are
Actually, let's
looking for?
begin with her, Sindhu, because you're the resident. All this is happening for your benefit. So what are your expectations?
Yeah, that's what conserving water is very important. That too, especially when water is available, like during the rainy season and all. It is supposed to be conserved, thinking of the future. But that awareness is very less in the general population. Like, they get that awareness only when there is water scarcity. Otherwise, it's just flowing. Water is just flowing. So yeah, bringing that awareness is very important, and also, government also has to take some action against this. Because nothing can be done without their support and all. So yeah.
Great, thank
I
you.
mean, of course,
Thank you,
government is the biggest stakeholder. Yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, even my remark would be let's not look at water in isolation. Yeah, stakeholders will come together, will work together, but all these aspects, how it is linked. And now that we are facing this crisis, let's not look at it in isolation. we'll have to work in progress. We'll have to look at each link that is connecting to the water, and yeah, then only we can address the issue. Yes.
My mantra would be recycle, reuse. Mother Nature will be kind to all of us. India enjoys a fantastic demographic dividend of 60% of the country below the age of 25. And my request and my earnest request to this young generation is that act fast before it is too late. Secure water for your future. We are all here to try and do things together. A multi-stakeholder problem will require a multi-stakeholder approach. Each one of us has a role to play. Let's play it to our best consciousness. Save Mother Earth, save water, and make the world a water secure and a water positive. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you
Mm.
so much, Dr. Kusnu. They were wonderful words. And they actually, thank you for leaving us on a positive note, because we're all talking about crisis, 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 and it sort of, gets us in that state of negativity. So I really wanted that kind of, positive push that yes, there is a solution. Problem is there, but solutions are there as well. So thank you for joining us, all of you, and sharing your views and also showing us the way that there are solutions. Like Dr. Kusnur is talking, he suggested immediate solutions that he has at hand. Ankita, you told about, sustained long-term solutions. Water is into that. So we have both ends of the spectrum. And I hope people hear us and they see that solutions are there. They need to come forward and implement them. So thank you very much. And we'll be doing
Thank you.
more talks like this in the future. We'll connect with you soon. Thank
Just
you.
parting, Dr. Sindhu, don't worry, Bangalore will be water positive soon.
Yes. Yes.